Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Code X podcast. As usual, I'm your host, Sonny Kruger. With me today is my co-host, Tim Morse. Unfortunately, Jamie Wojcik is under the weather, so he will not be joining us today.
Hey guys, how's it going? Yeah, Jamie, get better soon. We miss our third here. I'm usually the third. I have to take over the second seat. So when you come back, I will gladly give the second seat back to you and take my position as number 3.
Yeah, but looking forward to another fun episode today. If you didn't get to see the pre-show on twitch.tv/codex podcast, we had a lot of fun. We were talking about Jamie and how he's not doing so well. We were saying that, make sure to send him a lot of memorabilia of Jared Leto as the Joker. That always makes him feel better.
If you're friends with him on Facebook, guys, believe us when we say that Jared Leto pictures help him feel better when he's sick or when he's down. And if you send those to him, he's very thankful for them.
Yes. So with that, we'll get on to our show. Yeah, we got a lot of comic news. We'll start off with the biggest news that everyone's been talking about is the Miles book being pulled. We have Our Works, the topic of the week, which is what independent comic company do you prefer and why? We will have another game of Do You Know? This time it will be me against Tim. And then a little bit of change of plans today. We will not be reviewing Avengers Defenders War. We will be reviewing Spider-Man 2099 issue number 1.
That's right.
Okay, right, let's get us started on that news,
dude. So before we even get into it, I mean, anybody that's been reading comic related news or the news in general knows that Mouse, the graphic novel that depicts Art Spiegelman's dad's trials and tribulations going through the Holocaust, has been pulled from a school in McMinn County, Tennessee. Now, before anybody goes after me for saying the name of the county, it is in literally every news outlet that you could possibly read, and this is right in my back door. So this is very personal to me. But before we get started, I want to let you know that the GoFundMe for Mouse, the comic company or the comic shop, the local comic shop in Knoxville, Nirvana Comics, they have raised money to provide free copies to any student that asks for it. And as of right now, this recording, it is at $103,467. So it's gone up since before we even got started.
That's amazing. Yeah.
So yeah, with the GoFundMe, all you got to do is type in Nirvana Comics or Nirvana Comics Knoxville Project or even Mouse, and you'll be able to find it and you can donate. And please do, because this is a book that needs to be in people's hands. It's one of the greatest pieces of comic work ever written, and everybody needs to read it. I mean, there shouldn't be any exceptions. This should be on everybody's to read list. But basically what they're saying is Art Spiegelman's masterpiece is one of the most important, impactful, and influential graphic novels of all time. We believe it is a must read for everybody. And this is from the GoFundMe. All funds will be used to purchase Mouse for students local and across the country. And here's an update as of yesterday from Nirvana. So Nirvana says that not only will they be able to provide a free copy of Mouse to any student that asks, but they will also include a parent teaching guide, which I think is fantastic too. One of the Tennessee-based teachers, so a teacher here in the state that I live in, was able to put together this guide to help parents talk about each chapter with their kids. So yeah, that's amazing. And so $103,467. Their initial goal was $20,000. I think they have far exceeded that. But let me go into this a little bit further. So with the article with USA Today, like I said, the school in McMinn County, it was a Tennessee school board that decided to pull Mouse from libraries for students under the high school level. So it's not all students, but any students from middle school down, so 8th grade on down to kindergarten, are not going to be able to have access to this book. And some of their reasons for pulling the book The county school board voted to ban the novel because of rough language and a drawing of a nude woman. It's absolutely absurd. It's ridiculous. And Art Spiegelman, the person that wrote and drew Mouse, says it best. It's not about left versus right. It's about a culture war that's gotten totally out of control. And that is absolutely the case, because now you have people everywhere censoring and banning anything they can get their hands on that they disagree with. This is the Holocaust, guys. This happened. And this is a firsthand account of what this man went through during this horrible and utterly unimaginable time frame in human history. And everybody needs to be exposed to this. Everybody needs to read it, and everybody needs to see what happened, at least from this man's point of view, right? And what better way than through the comics medium that we all love, pulling this out of the hands of kids that need to read this. Now, I personally think that kids in elementary school don't need to have access to this right at the moment. That's up to the parents to decide. But once you get into middle school, yeah, it's about time. And it's time to start looking at things like this. Anne Frank's diary is not pulled from people's lists of things to read. It's recommended reading. It's mandatory reading in high school, if I remember right, and Lord of the Flies and things like that. And Mouse needs to be on that list, should be on that list, and has to be on that list.
Yes, it's history. You can't pretend history didn't happen. It
Nope.
was horrible. I mean, horrible isn't even. I don't think there are any words to accurately describe like how bad things, like said, like the Holocaust was or slavery was. But you still got to somewhat teach people about it, and a swear word here or a body there. I mean, a nude body there. I don't think it's reason enough to say take it away. And you've read it. I remember on your Front of the Vault.
I have a
That's how
copy
I
of
first
it in
heard
my
about it. Was
living
when you were
room.
from the Vault. Do you
Yeah.
remember the swearing being like super bad or crazy nudity or anything?
Oh, so like with the art style in the book, it's very simplistic. It's not overtly crazy. It's not like this. It's not like the comic books we read today. It's really quite two-dimensional. It's Art Spiegelman doing artwork depicting Jewish people as mice, Germans and Nazis as cats, Americans as bulldogs, I believe, and the British and the Polish are depicted as other things too. It's simplistic line drawn artwork, and it's simplicity that just kind of makes it all the more, because as you go through and you read it, there is language, and there should be, and I don't remember a depiction of a nude girl, but if there is one in there, that's fine too. I mean, kids in the 8th grade, 7th grade, and 6th grade see worse than that on television and in video games right now. As a matter of fact, go check your kids and see what they're reading, watching, or looking at. Because if they're on TikTok or they're playing Grand Theft Auto, or they've got their headsets on while they're playing Halo, you better believe that they're hearing, seeing, and watching things that are way more atrocious than anything Mouse could provide.
And a lot of the people who complain, so there was a swear word or there's a naked body, those are the people who are usually, they're the ones swearing in front of their kids and this and that, and then they'll complain about something else.
Anybody that
It's
complains
ridiculous.
about swear words, I've got a hand gesture for you that is lewd, crude, and tattooed. So, yeah.
There you go. And one thing I did want to read was a quote. It was from Oscar Wilde, and he said, "The books that the world calls immoral are books that show the world its own shame."
Exactly. And to add to that point, those that ignore or suppress history are doomed to repeat it. You can't get away from things that happened, and you have to learn from that. You have to pay attention to it, and you have to study it, because if you don't, you're going to make those same mistakes that these other rejects did in our past.
Yeah.
I get a little furious and I get worked up about this, especially with banned works, and it's ridiculous to censor something or somebody simply because of the things that they say, or the written word and things like that. If you don't like it, don't read it. If you don't like listening to whoever it is, don't listen to them. But other people do. And what right do they have, or you as the universal term, what right do you have to take that away from somebody? The answer is you don't. And it's ridiculous. I can't stand it. I cannot stand it. Drives me bananas.
Yeah. I completely agree with you, man. And like I said, this is something that definitely has everybody talking. Like they're not just comic book fans, there's all kinds of people from all different walks of life. I'm seeing it
everywhere. Yeah. I have to center myself now, Sonny.
So what do you think about Whoopi Goldberg getting suspended?
She deserved every bit of that too.
Yes.
She deserved every bit of that, because guess what? The Jewish people are also a race, and what happened to them is beyond comprehension. And to say that it was white people killing white people, I had an aneurysm for 2 seconds, because that is the most ridiculous thing I have ever heard in my life. Moving on.
Yes.
Oh, Sonny.
Yeah. So, like I said, the whole mouse thing, we can go on with that like all day. But I think it's time we move to to another galaxy, or some Guardians of the Galaxy, my friend.
The end of an era.
Yes, James Gunn has said that Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 will be the last time we see the team together. We'll see. I mean, especially this is his last film working on it, so it's gonna end. It's gonna have a big ending to the trilogy. I love the Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy. Well, the series so far. So I'm obviously assuming that the next one's gonna be really good as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then, in a way, I mean, I don't think maybe forever. I mean, who knows what will happen 10, 20 years down the road, but
right,
at least for a while, it's going to be the end of this team, or at least this team, because there's so many members in the past, in the present, who have been members who haven't been on in the live action movies yet. But maybe if they continue or something, they'll say, okay, well, now it's time to give this person a shot, or this person, even like Charlie 23 was a big character in the comics, and I think he has like a quick appearance in the movie. You never know, maybe later he'll have a bigger.
Is he in part. One of the movies? I didn't see him, so if you saw him, you got to let me know what part it was in, so I can go look.
I think they said, and I didn't notice until later on when I looked him up. I think it said that Vig Rhames plays him in the second one, and he's wearing like a big like yellow outfit. I didn't know it was him until I looked until it said, because I went to, for some reason, I don't know why, I was like, where's Charlie 23? But maybe I was looking at his first appearance or something, and it's like he was portrayed in the movie.
And the mechanical head's voice is Miley Cyrus. So I mean, Batista said it right. He said, I've been doing this for 10 years, guys. 10 years. He's been playing Drax the Destroyer, and at some point that has to come to an end. It's bittersweet, but if James Gunn does what he does best, which I have all the faith in the world that he will, this is going to be the best of the 3 Guardians movies, and I think it may go in line with one of the best Marvel movies ever made. I'm very curious to see what happened. I'm trying very hard to stay spoiler free on this one. But I've heard a couple of things. I've heard that there's going to be a romantic interest with Rocket. I've even heard rumors of the High Evolutionary coming in, which I would love to see.
Me too, yeah.
I've even heard Mark Hamill is going to play the High Evolutionary, but who knows about that?
That would be incredible.
Right. But like he said, this is the last time we'll see this team together. But that doesn't mean that Star-Lord's going away forever unless he dies.
Or becomes old man Star-Lord, like
right?
Goes in the comics,
but I mean, Guardians will live on. They will make appearances. They will show up. Other characters will be around. We're not going to lose them all. We just may lose 4 or 5 of them.
4 or 5 of the 5.
Yeah, but no, I mean, I'm not looking forward to it, but it is what it is. It has to happen sooner or later.
Yeah, and like you did say, I think James Gunn will do a great job of, if it's got to end, it's going to end on a high note, and it'll be like, wow, that's how you end a trilogy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But go from endings. Let's go to something new.
Something new that is basically ended before it began. And it is about the new Warriors show. So there was talk from the showrunner Kevin Weigel, who said that people thought the show was, too gay, that it was very openly gay and very proudly gay, and he believes that that's pretty much why it didn't last, or that it didn't get picked up, and it didn't make it past the pilot episode. And I have right here what
They
he
did
says.
film that, like that was all but completed, right? The
Yes,
pilot, yeah.
they did have it. And in the article, there was the pictures of Milana Vaintrub as Squirrel Girl. Those who don't know who she is because of her name, she is the attractive actress that you see in all those AT&T commercials.
I was going to ask you that.
That's
I
who
thought
she is.
that's who that was.
Yeah. So that's like a quick way to know who she is. Yeah. So there's pictures, and she looked like she would have played the part really good. She looked like the character.
Mhm.
So it was cool that they
Yep.
had the squirrel on her shoulder.
Yep, the
And-
prop and the
Yeah.
big tail in the back and all that stuff. Oh yeah.
Yes, I wonder how that would have been. But yeah, Kevin Feigl, I got it right here. What he said. Twitter, yeah. There's a show we wrote a few years ago. It was very proudly gay, a singular power. They killed the show because it was too gay. A rich, straight Brentwood turd. He got fired for being vile at his company. We, on the other hand, live. Hashtag New Warriors.
Yeah, and I think we can all put together what company that was, because I believe it was supposed to come out on Freeform, but was pushed aside or just disregarded altogether. It wasn't picked up for series. So yeah, think about that, figure it out. You guys know. I mean, you're all smart. So, but yeah, I mean, it looked good. If it was too gay, so what? Nobody cares. I mean, maybe back then, whenever this was supposed to come out a couple of years ago, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we live in a different world now. Who cares? Honestly, nobody does. If there's gay characters in a show, so what? I mean, if there's not gay characters in a show, who cares? Nobody does. It's the point of fact of you have people with old-fashioned values that are still set in their ways and they refuse to change, and unfortunately shows that could be good or it could not have been good get canned before they get a chance to try. It wouldn't have bothered me. I'm not a fan of Squirrel Girl or anything like that, but I would have loved to have seen her on screen. It would have been amazing to see, but
yeah. Sometimes, like I said, the shows or sometimes the movies, they're surprising. It's like, oh, I don't really know this team, or I'm not really much of a fan, and then you see it, and then sometimes it's like, wow, this actually is really good. Maybe I should check them out again.
Like I loved New Warriors back in the 90s when it was like Firestorm, Marvel Boy, Speedball, Night Thrasher. Rage was in there, Silhouette, one of the first handicapped characters. I think she had the yeah, you know what I'm talking about. She had the black and yellow suit and she walked with the crutches. That was cool. That was all kinds of cool stuff. There was all kinds of cool things with New Warriors back in the 90s. And then I didn't see him again until Civil War, and they had a bunch of different characters. And then, they were the reason why the good guys fought against each other is because of what they did.
Yeah, it was them. They didn't last very long.
No, it's a shame. I would have loved to have seen it. I think the creator of the show even said that he showed it to his kids and his kids thought it was amazing.
You better like my new show, kids.
Dad's
my kids love it. Yeah.
Oh my God.
So I guess it'd be one of those things we wonder, and and then even for her, Milana, who played Squirrel Girl, almost makes me think of Pulp Fiction, where they kept mentioning with Dermot's character, like, oh, she was in a pilot, but I think it picked up. She was in a pilot.
Yeah.
Well, Milana, she can say that she was Squirrel Girl in a pilot, but it did not get picked up, and we can wonder what
I would have told
like.
a joke at the end of every episode.
Yeah. with the nuts.
Oh my God. Yeah. But anyways, speaking of nuts, the writers union filing a labor dispute against Image Comics. So this is from Bleeding Cool. This is done by Rich Johnson from Bleeding Cool, and this was put out the other day. So last year, the Comic Book Writers United announced themselves as a union. It was made up of a dozen or so staffers working at Image Comics, and they voted by a supermajority to declare the formation of a union. Now, that vote was not voluntarily recognized by Image, but earlier this year it was ratified officially. So they officially have a writers union with Image Comics now. Fast forward to now, the Comics Union has filed a claim against Image with the government's National Labor Relations Board. And the legal filing claims that Image Comics has engaged in unfair labor practices. And sounds eerily familiar to Kirkman and what he did with the colorist of Invincible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, Image Comics says here that Image Comics retaliated against union bargaining members, and the Image interfered with the exercise of employees' rights by intentionally disseminating misinformation. Now, no other further details are given there, and the CBWU did not respond to inquiries, nor did Image Comics when Bleeding Cool reached out to them. But if you go on Bleeding Cool's website, you can see the disposition that was filed against Image Comics, and it is all there for you guys to take a look at and read. So my opinion on this, look at what Starbucks did when the one Starbucks, I think it was in New York, was trying to unionize, and they did everything they could to try and stop it. Guys, unions are not a bad thing. I mean, they're representation of the workers' rights, and that's something that needs to be there. And for Image Comics to try and do those things that are claimed in the lawsuit that they did to prevent writers from unionizing, shame on you guys. I mean, that's not cool. You need to, your writers need to have a voice, your artists need to have a voice. And if this goes through and the union wins, what's going to happen at DC? What's going to happen at Marvel? Are characters going to be or are writers and artists, inkers and letterers going to be work for hire now, or are they going to unionize?
And I'm surprised that it took this long for writers to get a union, especially I always make sure to pay attention to these things because, I am a writer and I always think, okay, one day I may be working for this company or that. It'd be nice, like I said, everybody does deserve to have a union and have somebody fight for their rights so that they're not being mistreated. So you did say this, but a shame on Image of, for doing the things that they're being accused of doing.
Yeah, if they in fact did do that, that's not good, dude. That's not good business. And you need to let your workers unionize, and you need to let them have one unified voice.
Yeah. Hopefully it all does get worked out and everything is good, because like I said, we like a lot of comics from Image, so we don't like to hear when things like this are going on and people being mistreated. We like to hear that everything is good and smooth, so that when you buy a comic from them, you feel glad, like, okay, this isn't somebody being mistreated. Somebody was happy making this.
Yeah, they got a paycheck, they enjoyed their work, they enjoyed their time, and now we're enjoying it. Yeah. But you know what else is coming up that I may or may not enjoy?
Certain Judgment Day.
So the latest Marvel epic feature in comic books is coming this summer, and it's called Judgment Day, and it has to do with the X-Men, the Avengers, and the Eternals. I don't know much more about it beyond the cryptic things that they keep putting out, like the one of the Eternals, Druig, I think, was saying, we were made to fight deviants, but we forgot something, the mutants.
The one they haven't seen too.
And then there's the picture that they had where the Eternals are on one side, the X-Men are on the other, and the Avengers are right in the middle. So what's gonna happen? I'm very curious about that, but I don't know if I'm gonna rush out to get it, because and this goes into our works later in the episode, but Jamie and I talked about it. Our comic events too big? And the short answer is yes, and this is just another example of that.
Yeah, it should be interesting. I mean, the Duverse, you know which team I'm rooting for.
The Avengers.
Well, the Eternal X-Men. the Eternals with that one guy and that other guy, that lady, and
Icarus
those
and
tough characters. Yeah,
yeah.
once they fly and they have strength, and for the X-Men.
Exactly.
Uh,
Yes.
yeah, but I like to say, you wonder how if it is going to be interesting or not, or are there too many events? Like I said, obviously before, I mean, sometimes it's cool they have a lot of events, but sometimes before it was like there's one big event, so everybody was jumping on board,
Yeah.
and now there's so many. So,
Well, I mean,
so that one.
before you only had a major event every couple of years, and now it's every 4 months you've got something going on.
Yeah, every season.
Yeah, and it's the summer comics blockbuster.
Yeah, so we will see. Does it live up to the hype? And expecting how long will it be? If it is just going to be for the summer, if it's going to be, So we'll see. I'd like to see more before I'm like, oh, I'm definitely going to get it, or if I'm like, oh, I'll wait. So like I said, still very new. Just talked about just seeing a few cryptic posts and things like that, and then we'll pretty much have updates on it as it gets closer to the release date and everything. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and I'm sure my opinion will change 5 times between now and then. So,
but like I said, I'm sticking with the X-Men. Always stay loyal to my X-Men.
I'll side with Team Avengers because they're right in the middle. So.
And nobody's taking the Eternal side.
No. We know they're going to lose, so it doesn't matter.
They better. I want them to lose. Yeah. But speaking of things that are set to come out this summer, Loki season 2 is filming earlier, and it's set to film this summer. Now it was said, it's going to be later, but now on the site called Backstage, which is a site for filmmakers, and Tim, I can let you know. I can let my viewers know I was on that site for a little bit and was kicked off in like a week or two. They said I was talking too much. I wasn't posting more. I'm like, I paid enough money for this site. You only paid more money to say, hey, I'm working on a show called A Series About a Series. Who wants to be a part of it?
I'm sorry, sir, but you are just not contributing enough to the conversation. What do you mean?
Yeah.
I talk all the time.
Yeah, I talk. I paid my money, but they did pay me back. So I said, okay. I was on there for a couple weeks, kicked off, but I got my money back. But
oh my God.
On the site Backstage, because they film, talk about shows coming up. A lot of it, at least especially in Illinois, is a lot of like upcoming indie filmmakers putting like, hey, I have this project or this or that. But in other places, they have some big projects too. Obviously, Loki is a huge one. And I guess that on there, it was saying, okay, filming is going to start this summer. So then they got people talking of, so Loki's going to be filming this summer. And then that means, the show should be filming soon, like I said, in summer. And then who knows? There's still no release date for season 2.
Well, I mean, if it starts filming in the summer, then I think it's safe to assume that it'll come out toward sometime in the beginning of 2023 or something like that. But it'll be good. It'll be good. Loki's good. So the second season will be amazing also. Yeah.
So that's why I'm excited. I was glad to see that it's filming early, and as opposed to all these, lately it's just everything delayed. It's nice to see something is moving forward earlier than expected.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But other things that are moving forward earlier than expected, and that would be the Joker sequel.
Yeah.
So
the one with Joaquin Phoenix too. So
yeah, Joker 2 is reported to start filming soon. I think early 2023 is when it's expected to film. First draft of the script has been finished. It's been submitted and things like that. We'll see Joaquin Phoenix return as the Clown Prince of Crime, and Todd Phillips again is set to direct once more. Let's see here. Source claims to have insider knowledge on the Joker sequel. We all know about that, though. Stated that filming will commence once Phoenix schedule frees up in 2023. Additionally, it's believed that the first draft, like I said, has already been received by Warner Brothers. Yeah, so I mean, there's not much more to say than that, but it's exciting news. Joker was an amazing movie. I mean, a movie first, a comic book movie second. It was fantastic film work. And I've only watched it once because it was a really hard watch for me to do, because I've had people suffer from mental illness and things like that before. So, watching that is difficult when it's portrayed that brutally. So, yeah, but the sequel, I'm excited about that. The rumors of Willem Dafoe coming in there, I think, are hot water. I don't think that's true.
Yeah, I think he was just saying like, oh, it would be cool if I was another Joker. I mean,
yeah.
for years we've seen people. I don't know if you've seen the pictures with like William Dafoe, but they put like all the
Oh
Joker stuff.
yeah.
Like, oh yeah, he'd be the perfect one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be cool to have him in there and do something awesome, but you and I both know that's not going to happen.
No,
But
especially like I said, I think it'll be more in the style of the first one, which like I said was really good. Like you said perfectly, a movie first, then a comic book movie. Because like if you were expecting just a comic book movie, I'm like, no, this is more like a regular movie, a gritty, down
if it
street
didn't have
movie.
anything to do with a comic book at all, that movie would have won every single award ever created.
Yeah, it would remind me, if there's any movie that I would compare it to, I would say like Taxi Driver would be the movie that I would.
I haven't seen Taxi Driver, but it's just one of those movies that sticks with you. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it doesn't ever go away. And it's one of those movies that you tell people you have to watch this. Don't think about it. Just turn it on and call me when it's done so we can cry together.
Yeah, it's one of those, a very, very powerful movie too. Yeah, like I said, there's a mental illness. Like I said, not just straight action, it's mental illness. And basically somebody who's had enough of society.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So yeah, it's something I'm definitely excited about.
Yeah, I definitely hope that it's good, that it lives up to their first. And then, we could talk about it on the show. It'll be a while. We'll be far into the Codex podcast by then, but we'll still be going on.
Yeah, but there is some sad news to bring to the community.
Yes, writer and editor Brian Augustyn has passed away. He had a stroke. For those of you who do not know who he is, he was someone he worked alongside Mark Waid a lot. And Brian Augustyn is most known for working on Batman, Gotham by Gaslight, JLA Year One, and he worked on The Flash for quite a while.
Batman.
In 1994, no problem. In 1994, he won the Wizard Fan Award.
Nice.
And you were going to say about Batman?
Yeah, Batman Gotham by Gaslight is the book that started the Elseworlds line. So the book's legacy is all but cemented in history. Augustine and Mark Waid were super friends. They did everything together. I think when I read Mark Waid's post on Facebook about Augustine, he said that they both started working at DC within a week of each other. I think he had come first. He was there. Augustine was there a week before he was, and they just instantly bonded. Yeah, so it's a sad day. It's always sad when somebody passes away, but when somebody as influential as this does, it just makes it a little more sad.
Yeah, I do believe he was. I believe it was 67 years old.
Mm-hmm.
He did suffer from a stroke.
Yeah,
it took his life. And but his work will definitely live on. Like you said, Batman, Gotham by Gaslight is, like I said, one of the first Elseworld stories. And we see how popular Elseworld stories are now. Like we see them left and right. Back then it was big, it was different.
And Gotham by Gaslight is the one that started it all.
Yeah. So may Brian Augustyn rest in peace. And we'll continue his work will live on, and maybe one day we'll be reviewing some of those. Like I said, when I was looking into them, they seem very interesting. Yeah,
I would love to do a review of Gotham by Gaslight. That would be amazing.
Because when I was reading it said that Batman takes on Jack the Ripper.
Yep.
And I was like, oh man, that sounds like I gotta check that out. So one day we'll have to get to that.
I'm gonna put it on the list right now. So
sounds good, man. All right, and then we do have some good news though.
Mm-hmm.
Some sad news turns into some good news. And I haven't told you and Jamie, I was like, it's like the world was watching our last episode. Because we talked about, one of Jamie's questions was, was Ghost Rider a part of Fantastic Four at one point?
Mm-hmm.
And now we get news today that the new Fantastic Four will be returning. That is the Fantastic Four with Ghost Rider, Spider-Man, the Hulk is Joe Fixit, Mr. Fixit, whatever you want to call him, and Wolverine.
Yeah.
And yeah, they will be having a new story coming out May 25th, and it will be by Peter David and Alan Robinson.
I was hoping, no. I was listening for Arthur Adams. I was hoping he was going to do the work because
I'm not mentioning him yet.
On the Marvel's Universe Series 2 cards for the rookie teams that they have, Arthur Adams did the work for new Fantastic Four's card. And I was hoping that they would have him do it, but they didn't.
But it should be good. Like I said, it was crazy coincidence how we happened to mention it, and then they happened. But yeah, I like the team. I thought it was good, and that this series is set to pick up where those Fantastic Four issues left off.
Really?
1990. Yeah. So I was really excited about that. So it's not just a completely new story. It's picking up where that story left off on. And it's supposed to be that they're going to Las Vegas. And like there's a big crime surge in Vegas. I'm like, this could be really cool.
Maybe we'll get
those characters in Las Vegas.
Maybe we'll get to see some other 90s-ish characters like Nomad. I would love to see Nomad. He was out in that area at that time.
Yeah, I haven't seen much of Nomad lately.
No, I think he died. Jack Monroe, I think is his name. I think he died during Civil War, or no, during the Winter Soldier storyline, if I remember right. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty confident in that answer.
And then, like I said, it'd be cool if he's there because, like I said, this is supposed to take place. It was 1990 when that happened, so it'd be cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm excited for it. May 25th, and they said the cover is supposed to be one of those wraparound covers that you open. So
that's even better.
Yeah.
That's even better.
I'm looking forward to it. Who knows? Maybe that'll be my on the hunt when it gets to May 25th. 32 years old. That's a month past my birthday.
Is it going to continue the numbering from the series, or is it going to start over at like number 1?
It will start over at number 1.
Oh, okay. So yeah. I hope they have the legacy number though. That would be cool to see.
It'll be So we'll start at number 1, May 25th. The new Fantastic Four issue number 1. And there we go. That is our comic news for the day. Our hot news. And now we get into our works.
Yeah.
I know Jamie's going to really miss this part that he doesn't get to be here to hear me talk about my work. It's probably his favorite part of the show. But I'll quickly get to our works. For me, the show I work on, a series about a series. I'm excited that auditions start next week.
That's amazing. I've been
talking with people, putting casting calls out there. And now the schedule is set for next week for people to audition for the characters. I'd love to see it. It's always fun. Sometimes because I'm reading his other characters.
Yeah.
And then, and then you're seeing people, like you're seeing characters. Okay, sometimes maybe could the character be like this? And sometimes you're seeing like your character come to life like this. And they may be this may be the one.
Well, let me ask you, when are you going to start doing like location scouting and things like that for places to shoot at?
So I have already started on that, like certain places I've already had before, and like, okay, I will return there. So locations, that was before shooting the first episode, that was the biggest issue that was holding me back for a long time was locations. But now I do have a studio that I go to a lot. It's called Indie DB Studios, and it's really for upcoming indie filmmakers. So that's where I do a lot of filming there. And then sometimes at house.
That's amazing.
In this house, sometimes at my mom's. So you get people, my friend before Keith, his parents, they were nice enough to let me use their bar, and that was really nice because bars are a lot of money to film at. So they definitely saved me. Big Keith and Michelle saved me a lot of money, and I got the bar scene.
Well, I mean, you did a great job with the first episode, and I am chomping at the bit for information on the second episode. So I'm ready for it, man. And you let me know when you need me to fly to Chicago and make a guest appearance, and I'll be there.
All right, well, certainly not this week with all these snowstorms. I'd say we'll wait a little bit till this snow goes down. And that's one thing too with filming is that I need to keep in mind is like right now it's the winter. You don't want to say,
are you wanting to film? Are you wanting to film like in the spring or?
Spring would be if I have to do like outside scenes for the upcoming episodes. There's a couple scenes out, so I'm like, okay, those I'll wait a little bit to get to the outside scenes.
Gotcha.
But there's a lot is inside, so those I make sure just
right on.
Stay away from a window so we don't. Hey, wait a minute. Why is there all that snow in the background? And then suddenly he walks outside and there's no snow.
It was a freak styrofoam accident. That's why you
Yeah.
see all that white stuff out there. That's exactly what happened.
I will keep that in mind and I will use that. Come back to episode 33 of the Kodak podcast. Wait, what did Tim say? What was that excuse I need?
Let me go back in there and watch.
Yeah. But I got that going. So that's what I would be excited to work on. And I did make sure I said no auditions on Wednesdays. Wednesdays is still the Codex podcast day.
There you go.
Always.
There you go.
And then other things for me is I've been having those mail calls. I've been getting, some things in the mail. And today, Wednesday, we posted my last mail call about getting that Dark Ages #4 finally.
I am invested in the journey of Dark Ages. Like I am invested in that 110%. I look forward to it every time it comes out. And this time you had the check marks each time you got an issue or you showed an issue in the mail call.
Yeah. So like I may do a little something instead of just showing. I'll make, to let you know that I'm on this journey. Because Dark Ages is the first series, anything that I'm collecting along with everyone, issue by issue as it's coming out, not just getting in my trades. It's coming out issue by issue.
What variant was that you got? Do you know? Like, is it the B variant or the C variant or?
Oh, you might have to look.
Okay,
that's figure out which variant. It's the one with Captain America in the middle, and we got Spider-Man on the side.
It looks really cool though. When I go to my local comic shop next week, it's going to be sitting there waiting for me. Not that variant, but Dark Ages #4. So
yeah, make sure I've already read it. So
really, is it good?
I enjoyed it. It's good. And then we'll be looking forward to a Decoding Panels episode on it.
That's right. Speaking of all that good stuff. So Decoding Panels, I'm fast at work behind the scenes. We got Deceased coming for you pretty soon. We're in the middle of the most epic Punisher story ever told, and that would be Circle of Blood. And
Jamie's favorite.
It is. It absolutely is. Where Jared Leto is Jamie's favorite actor in existence, Punisher Circle of Blood is Jamie's favorite comic book or just written word. Like way better than scrolls of old and limericks and haikus. Punisher Circle of Blood is Jamie's bedtime story. And nope, that's not him messaging me, so we're good.
He's like, dude,
what are you doing?
He was gonna tell us that we were so right.
But yeah, that's coming out. Let's see here. Jamie and I recorded 3 episodes of Breaking the Code this past weekend, and it's some good ones, dude. Some good ones. We did 5 comic book movies that set the standard. Like it's not a top 5, it's just what Jamie thought and what I thought were the 5 comic book movies that set the standard for everything that we watch today. There's some obvious picks in there, but there's some not so obvious picks in there too. And that episode will be coming out soon. We also did what I mentioned just a little bit ago, our comic events too big. That was a great conversation. And another conversation that we had that got a little heated.
He was telling me you guys got into something.
Yeah, but Jamie and I shook hands, had a beer, and threw darts at pictures of Jared Leto's face afterwards. And that is, are comic fans too critical? So yeah, great conversations, lots of information, and a little bit of back and forth, but it's awesome. It was good. And we ended that episode on a really great note, and I'm very excited for you guys to see that.
I'm excited to check it out.
Yeah. More Boom Thursdays coming out. I mean, you just had one come out a little bit ago with Buffy the Last Vampire Slayer #2.
Yeah.
Let's see here. We've got
we got a one shot.
The one shot with Jude Ellison S. Doyle. That is out now. And if you guys haven't seen that, go take a listen to that. She is the writer for Maw. We had the artist A.L. Kaplan not too long ago, and that was a wonderful time. I got to sit down with him and do my 1.5 shot. And this time with Jude Ellison S. Doyle, I only asked one question. And
yeah, I was surprised. I'm like, so I was watching. I'm like, Tim only asked him one question.
Yeah,
He did it. Where was that half?
but my comment was part of the conversation, and I made sure to not put a curly Q at the end. So yeah, but it's good. You guys need to check it out, and we're working on a ton more one shots behind the scenes too. These take time, but we got a lot of cool stuff coming for you in that direction.
The one shot's always great. And I always love watching them, and it was very insightful too. Like I like to learn about the process in terms
Yeah,
of making comics and everything. Like I said, with Jude, I was watching, and they were talking about, like, making a horror as opposed to like a regular comic and a horror comic. So
yeah,
all really interesting stuff, all great stuff, and
yeah.
a whole lot more coming your way from the Codex.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
And now we move on to our topic of the week.
That's right.
All
So
right.
what is the topic of the week, Sonny? Do you remember?
Yep. So the topic of the week is, what independent comic company do you prefer and why? And well, since Jamie's not here this week, Tim has the top 3 picks in no particular order. The top 3 comments in no particular order.
That's right. So once again, guys, thank you all for those that responded when Jamie put this topic of the week out. We love reading the responses. Some of us even get involved in 1 or 2 of them. But in no particular order, we first have Bryn Anderson, and he says it had been IDW because of all of the 80s properties that they licensed. That, of course, will be changing. Image is also up there for their variety of stories outside of superheroes. That's a very valid point. Next is Bill Cash, and Bill says Boom Studios, the home of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers comics that serve as a modern update of the show I grew up watching and continue to watch to this day. You and Jamie need to get together and stream episodes and watch them together. And finally, we have Christopher David Colley, and he says Zenoscope Entertainment, gory fairy tales and risque covers. You're not wrong. Sonny, your favorite independent comic book company currently in existence?
Well, for me, it's no real surprise that I do go with Boom Studios. That I've been reading a lot lately from them, and like, obviously we're talking about doing the Boom Thursdays and checking out Buffy the Last Vampire Slayer.
Yeah.
Once in Future, like I said, all the Power Rangers they have going on, Power Rangers, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. They got Berserker. They have a lot going on, and I really invested in a lot of their stories. So Boom Studios is my top independent company. But one thing about me is I was really excited about this topic of the week for this week, because I'm a guy who has a lot of Marvel and DC, and I was like, I want to, like I said, now I've been getting into Boom Studios. Like, I want to hear about more other independent companies. Like, what else am I missing out there that
Yeah.
'cause there are a lot of companies that have these incredible stories out there that a lot of people like myself, we don't know about. But if we heard about them, even if we just saw, like you said, a risque cover or something, it may grab our eye and say, what, let me look at least and see what this is about. And then sometimes I read what it's about and say, what, I'm gonna give this a shot. And then you check something out and you're like, man, I can't believe I missed this. I almost missed this.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see what you got.
Sonny, I'm gonna have to take your pick and say Boom Studios as well. I mean, it's a no-brainer. Marvel and DC have the top 2 spots. Image has number 3. Everybody else fights for 4 and below. But I think the sleeper is Boom, and I think they are fast approaching taking over that number 3 spot.
Yes.
I believe that last month in January, the number 1 selling book was the Something is Killing the Children, or House of Slaughter. I think it was House of Slaughter, if I'm not mistaken. That's a Boom title, guys. But you all already knew that. Yeah, but Boom, they have wonderful work coming out right now. Power Rangers, like one of our comments said, it's a modern update on a show that we all watched and enjoyed and loved. Maw, obviously, horror comics. Then Something is Killing the Children and House of Slaughter, Berserker, and the list goes on. I mean, they are killing it right now, and everybody needs to be picking up some Boom titles.
Yeah. And then one thing cool is that they have comics for pretty much all ages. They do have comics that are aimed more towards kids. They have comics that are kind of for everybody, some that are for adults.
Well, they have the Kaboom line for kids, and that's got like things like, or at least it had like things like Regular Show and Steven Universe and Adventure Time and things of that nature. But yeah, it's Kaboom's line for kids is awesome. My son has Kaboom comics, so yeah.
So there we go. It was nice to hear the comments, read the comments too. Like I said, so now I know to check out some other independent companies, and glad to hear that Boom is making its way up there and becoming a lot more popular.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. I think this is the year for them, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we will.
Mm-hmm.
Tim, do you know?
I do, Sonny, and you don't, and I'm gonna win, so you might as well give up now.
Oh man, you ready for my questions from 1909? No.
Yes, as a matter of fact, I am.
Yeah, so normally it was gonna be scheduled. Like I said, it was gonna be me, then you, then Jamie. So I'm thinking, should we just do me, then you?
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
Okay.
You go ahead and take it away.
All right, Tim. In 18, no.
The answer would be General Eisenhower St. Peter.
Wrong, it's Youngblood.
God, okay. Close.
So going towards the year, going to the future, 2099.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so in the beginning, yeah, Marvel, they had 4 titles. Started off with 4 titles in the 2099, and 3 of those were characters that were already established. But one was a character who was not established and was brand new. Who was the character? Do you know the character?
I do. That would be Ravage.
Correct. Oh, you said it. You say you're prepared today. You're ready.
I'm ready for this.
So one for Tim.
Okay. So, Sonny, do you know when Spider-Man 2099 #1 released? Do you know the year?
1992.
That is correct, sir. For no extra points, do you know the month that it released?
So I was doing my research. So it said it came out in September, but the cover date was November.
You and I must have been reading the same stuff. Okay, yeah, so you're right. The cover date on there is November, but it came out in September of 1992, with Ravage following not too long after that. All right, so we're 1-1, Sonny.
1-1, yeah. How often does that happen? Well, I think last game we all started off at 1 point after the first one.
Yeah, very true.
So see, we are the Codex podcast hosts are learning. All right. Now we're not going to jump in. We'll bring us back to modern times, or even a little before modern times. You know, there's some talk about Squirrel Girl. You know, she's basically unbeatable. Mm-hmm. But Tim, do you know the first appearance of Squirrel Girl?
Yeah, it's a Marvel. It's Marvel Winter Special, #1 or 1993 or something like that. Right? Am I right? Eric Larson did the cover and it has Wolverine on the cover.
Right. So I'll still talk with you, but so do you know like the official name of the comic?
Wasn't it Marvel Superheroes Winter Special or something like that?
Correct. Yeah, Marvel Superheroes Winter Special.
I have that out there.
Oh, nice. Yeah, we got to see. Yep. So it's and it was in 1991.
1991, right?
Yeah, Marvel Superheroes Winter Special. So you got it.
Okay. So, Sonny, with my number 2 question, I think you already know the answer to this one, because you kind of alluded to that in your first question. So the first 4 2099 titles, do you know what they were in order of release?
Oh, in order of release.
No, do you just know do you know the 4 titles?
Okay. So Spider-Man 2099.
Yeah.
Ravage 2099.
Yeah.
Doom 2099.
Yeah.
And The Punisher 29.
That is correct. And that is in chronological order, by the way, too. So
Oh, wow. Here we go. Like I said, we did our research today.
Yeah, that's right. So Spider-Man 2099 and Ravage 2099 both came out in 1992. Spider-Man came out in September. Ravage came out in December. And then Doom came out in January of 93 with Punisher following in February.
Well, yeah, so I knew it, but then that part was a little lucky, though. The order was lucky.
Yeah, so we're neck and neck right now.
2 and
Sonny.
2, man. This is it for the win or the tie. We will see.
Do it?
Okay.
All right, go for it.
Tim, counting the first run of Spider-Man 2099, not the sequel ones.
Right. Okay.
Do you know how many issues Spider-Man 2099 was?
I believe it was 46.
Correct, Tim. 3 out of 3.
I am on fire today.
Right, so now, so to me, do I tie you? Do I beat you? We are, like I said, truly neck and neck.
I don't know, Sonny. This last question, I think, is going to be pretty tough. So let me get a drink of water and you sweat for a second.
And that is a cup of the Hulk. I am correct.
That is correct. You win. Absolutely. Thank you for playing today. No. Okay. So with Spider-Man 2099, do you know the very first video game he appeared in?
I appeared in. Let's see. I will say. I used to say Spider-Man. The Super Nintendo.
No. The first game for Spider-Man 2099 to ever make his appearance on the consoles was Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions, and that came out in the year 2010. One of the greatest Spider-Man video games in existence. And if
it was called Spider-Man what?
Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions.
I'll have to check that out.
Well, if you go and look for it on eBay, they're going to charge you an arm and a leg. So try and find it in a discount store that doesn't know what they have and get it for $5.
I do that, man. All right. So there we go. Do you know it was Tim 3, me 2. So Tim, that makes you the winner today.
I get the victory. I am very excited.
We were neck and neck that one.
I know. Jamie wasn't here to steal all my answers, so I win today. But when Jamie comes back next week, I will humbly lose and continue to lose for the rest of the year.
He just texted me right now. He only won because I wasn't there.
I have my phone on silent, so I'm sure he messaged me as well.
I will say, agreed.
Oh, Sonny. Kristen, the other half of Grady Meat, is currently watching the stream right now. Hello. So there you go. Well, yeah, Jamie, if you were here, you would have won, but you weren't here. So Sonny lost.
So, next week, Jamie will be back and bring me some more luck.
Okay. Onward to the man of the hour.
Now we will be reviewing Spider-Man 2099 issue number 1.
Right.
Do you want to start us off with the makers, or should I get us started with that?
I'll go ahead and give you the creative team there, and then if you want to take over the review portion, I'm cool with that. Absolutely.
Sounds good. And real quick before we get to that, Jamie replied, "Guy can't remember a password, but can win this week."
Yes, I can. And I have the password written down, so I'll never forget it again. However, with that being said, right. Spider-Man 2099 was brought to us by writing goes to Peter David, artwork goes to Rick Leonardi, inks go to Al Williamson, letters Rick Parker, not to be confused with Peter Parker, and colors go to Steve Buccellato. And that came out in September of 1992.
That's right, with the cover date of November 1992.
That's right.
All right, but yeah, so here we go. We got Spider-Man 2099. We go into New York, obviously 2099.
What the shock?
Yeah, what the shock. Yes, there's a lot of slang. We start off with these teenagers flying in the sky, and they're chased by I don't know if they're police or law, and they're like, get those idiot kids out of the way. Oh, well, they're chasing Spider-Man 2099 and just taking those idiot kids out of the way. I thought it gave me a good laugh. They had along with the what the shock. So we see that Spider-Man, yeah, it is what the shock. So basically every swear word is changed to shock.
Yeah,
in the story. It is.
You better not be shocking me right now. You better not be.
Yeah, what the shock? Shut the shock up.
Shock it, dude. Shock it.
Yeah. So it was a not so shocking appearance that Spider-Man 2099 is in Spider-Man 2099. It's Miguel. It's the Miguel O'Hara Spider-Man, and he's being chased by these law enforcement with, these incredible villains such as Estevez, who we can assume is related to Emilio Estevez, and none of these characters are very memorable. Like I said, Spider-Man he's jumping around, he's getting away. Surprise, surprise! He escapes and he makes it back home. And I said because it's 2099, it's pretty cool to see things in the future. And his answering machine is in the appearance of a lady, Lila, and when she says, "Oh, you have your messages," it's always somebody appearing, saying, "Hey, Miguel, we need this and that." And Miguel, you could tell he seems really worn out. He seems out of it, like he's depressed. You could tell he's been through a lot, and he's just like next, and then it gets to his fiance Dana, and she's saying, "We need to talk," and you see that she's beaten up, and he sees down, and then we get back to the origin story.
Is he calling you right now?
It is not him. It's a random number. I'm just gonna guess some scam number.
Oh my god!
The one time I don't turn the volume down. So that is a band. Well, the song is by a band named Vandenberg. I like my 80s hair metal music. Okay, but back to 2099. So like I said, Spider-Man, after he gets the message from Dana, we go back. It takes us back to how he became Spider-Man 29 and got these powers.
Yep.
So Miguel O'Hara, he works at this place called Alchemax, and there's a guy by his side named Aaron, and I gotta say, Miguel is really busting his chops a lot. And he's everything the guy says, he's got a quick, smart remark for him. And they're testing, and I don't want to get too detailed, but eventually Miguel is with his friend Tyler, or Tyler, who he calls Ty, and he's saying, "I'm leaving. I'm going to be done with the company."
Yeah, he throws his card right on the table.
Yeah,
and breaks
he throws it. Done.
Yeah.
So Ty says, "Okay, here, let's have a drink. Hey, we're good." And then suddenly he tells him, Miguel feels out of it, and he finds out that Ty tells him he drugged it with the drug called Rapture. So now Miguel is high, and he's getting paranoid. He returns home, and Dana is there, and because he's freaking out, he even gives her an elbow, which is why she was swollen later on because of that. But she's trying to say, "I still love you," and let's sort things out. But he wants to get away, so he returns back to his job at Alchemax, and he tests himself to to kind of heal himself from this Rapture stuff. And then who's there? That guy Aaron, who he happened to be messing with, and Aaron says, "Now I will get my revenge." And that is where I will end my review of Spider-Man 2099, issue number 1. So Tim, what the shock did you think of this comic?
Shouldn't have messed with Aaron. Should have left him alone.
Yeah, Aaron had enough. Well, first, actually, if you want to, you do have Jamie's review.
Yeah, I do, as a matter of fact, and I will bring that up right now. So what Jamie says here, let me see here, and I'm in the wrong spot. I'm in messages with him and not with everybody else.
While you do that, I lowered my phone so that we don't have any more music. As much as I love my 80s hair metal, we don't need it on the show.
So Jamie says that Spider-Man 2099 gets a solid 8.3 from him, and it made him want to read the entire series and also made him forget that he owned the first issue. And I believe the smiley face is from you, Sonny. Yep, it is. Okay.
Yeah, and I did tell him, I said, hey, that number one, the value is going to go up later this year once we see the new Spider-Man. Yeah.
I have 2 copies sitting out there in the living room right now, one newsstand and one direct, and I will sell the snot out of that newsstand when it hits peak price. You better believe it.
I'll give you $5, man.
Dude, sold. It's on its way.
All right, we got video evidence now.
Yeah. So, okay. So my thoughts on Spider-Man 2099, number 1, I think it is an immensely solid origin. You don't really see a whole lot like this, or at least back in the 90s where you got the first, like 5 pages of solid Spider-Man action, and then you don't see him in costume anymore for the rest of the issue. And then it just goes into the entire origin story. And I loved that. I thought that was amazing. Peter David's writing was very, very well done in this issue. It's superb. It's fantastic. It's spectacular. Spider-Man in the beginning, like I said, several pages, and then not again for the remainder of the issue. Rick Leonardi's artwork in here, I think, matched the tone that was needed to be done for something as wild and crazy as Spider-Man 2099. Because I remember when this issue came out, and me and my friends were like, what the shock is this? This is shocking ridiculous, and we're not going to check it out. But we all did.
Everyone was saying that,
yeah, we all did, and we all
word for word.
Yeah. And it was great. It was fantastic. So yeah, the writing gets a solid 10 from me. I love the flow. I love the way that it moved. I love shock. And I love, like I said before, Spider-Man in the first couple of pages, and then you don't even see him in costume anymore. And it's the entire origin, at least up to when he comes out of the machine at the end, and he's got the pupilless eyes and the fangs and claws and all that
almost
stuff.
like Mephisto.
Yeah, a little bit. Artwork also gets a solid 10 from me. When you think of Spider-Man 2099, it's Rick Leonardi all the way. And he did one of my favorite adjective-less Spider-Man comics. That was number 17. You Will Believe a Hero Can Die. When Spider-Man did die for like 2 seconds and went and talked to Thanos. Yeah, Leonardi did the artwork for that too, and it was beautiful. And I love his style, especially with Spider-Man 2099. So this gets a 10 across the board.
Wow. So a 10 out of 10 for Tim.
Yeah.
What the shock.
What the shock. Sonny, I'm curious to hear what your grade is for this.
So for me, my opinion is pretty shocking.
Ooh.
Not in the swear word shocking, but so yeah, I really like Spider-Man 2099, like the character himself, and Miguel O'Hara, as the Spider-Man. And so I was interested, like, okay, let me get, like when you said, hey, we should do this sometime. So I was excited to get into it, and maybe I think I hyped myself up so much. And I also do like, I said, Peter David's writing, like especially his writing, like he worked on X Factor for a while, and The Incredible Hulk. It's probably my favorite run of the whole.
And he's not a stranger to Spider-Man because he's done Spider-Man work before.
Yes, like I said, a lot of work I've enjoyed. And then, so I think when I started off, I said, the comedy, the shock stuff was definitely gave me a good laugh. Like I said, I like the part when they're like, get those idiots out of the way. So there's some good parts. I like that. And then I do like the futuristic, a lot of futuristic things. Like I said, how he sees Lila is basically his answering machine, who's an actual woman. And then I did like the talk of like, oh, he's going to get into drugs, where it takes a more serious turn. And then we went back to the story, we were talking. And then it did lose me a little bit. Like I was like, okay, I get it. But I was like, oh man, I was maybe expecting a super villain. I wanted to see like who does Spider-Man 2099 fight. And I guess I wanted to see him return again. And like I said, we only saw it like in the beginning. So for me, I was a little underwhelmed by it. And I was like, oh, I wanted more, but I still like it. Because I said, you know, you have it's the first appearance. It's
Yeah.
great new character, great new Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And then I am still, like I said, even like Jamie said, it gets you to want to read more. I want to see what's going to happen with this character. And yeah, but like I said, the villains, I wasn't too interested in Aaron or Ty. But like I said, I want to see what's going to happen with the drug things and everything. So I enjoyed it, not as much as I thought I would enjoy it. So I give this Spider-Man 2099 a shocking 7.5.
Whoa, Sonny,
So,
that's
I know, I was like, what the shock?
So Sonny, you do a 7.5, Jamie did an 8.3, and I took it to the moon and went to 10.
Switched.
That's usually your grades are pretty high, but 7.5. Now, guys, you
It's
need
still
to
good, yeah.
Yeah, 7.5 is a solid grade. 6.5 is a solid grade too, but it's uncommon for Sonny to go that low.
So yes, I still say good, and especially like we said, what a great character it is. But I was expecting more. It wasn't one of my favorites. I love it. I guess maybe too. Maybe I think I hyped it up a bit much, but I still want to say good, and I would still recommend checking it out. And I still do want to continue the story.
I would recommend if you dug Spider-Man enough, swing into Doom 2099. That's where it's at. So,
okay, I'll check out Doom. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember as a kid I had a card of Doom 2099. That's how I first started learning about the 2099 characters stories. But yeah, so there we go. What the shock, Sonny and Henry switch. You won, do you know? And I lost, do you know? You gave it 10 out of 10, and I gave it 7.5.
It's shocking.
Yeah, so maybe things will get back to shocking normal next week. And maybe Jamie will return, we hope so. We hope he feels better. And maybe we will finally get to reviewing the Avengers Defenders War.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah, what the shock.
What the shock.
But it's been a great episode. I look forward to seeing you all next week. I need to redeem myself. I want to win, you know. And, who knows? Maybe next week we'll be back to the normalcy of the show. And Tim will be giving a 5.3. And but for today's episode, things are a little crazy. And now we call it an end. So I say goodbye. Thank you for watching. And I'll let Tim take the show out.
Once again, guys, as Jamie always says, be kind to one another, love each other, and then I don't remember the rest of what he says, so I'm going to say what I say. And don't forget to follow us on social medias. That would be Instagram, Twitter, right here on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, and you can also find us on all podcast streaming platforms, Spotify specifically. All you have to do is type in the Codex Podcast or Codex Podcast or simply Code X, and you will find us there. Don't forget, right here on Twitch, we're here every Wednesday, usually around 5:30 on Wednesdays. Somewhere in there. And then the episodes come out on Saturday or Sunday on YouTube, and schedules are available on Facebook and YouTube as well, so you can see when every new episode of Decoding Panels, Mail Call, the podcast itself, or any other shows that we have are coming out. Once again, my name is Tim. This wonderful, beautiful gentleman over here is Sonny Kruger. We are the Codex Podcast. You guys have a great night.
Get the shock out.